Do you regret getting your implants?
Yeah, I do regret getting the implant. My new doctor was like, you should never have been allowed by the doctor to get implants this big.
Plastic surgery promises perfection, but for some stars, the mirror told a different story. What began as a small enhancement spiraled into a lifetime of regret, leaving behind more scars than confidence. While a handful walked away satisfied, others were left wondering why they ever said yes to the scalpel. Join us in this video as we dive into 35 unforgettable stories of plastic surgery gone wrong. Number 35. Melissa Gilbert. Melissa Gilbert, who many of us remember as Little Laura Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie, made a bold and honest decision back in 2018. She was done with cosmetic procedures. After spending most of her life under the spotlight, she decided she no longer wanted to keep fighting the natural process of getting older. For years, Melissa tried to keep up with Hollywood's obsession with looking young. She opened up about having a nose job, breast implants, fillers, Botox, and plenty of other treatments, all in an attempt to hold on to an image that the industry kept pushing on her. But deep down, it never felt right. Speaking to First for Women magazine, Melissa admitted that there's so much pressure in showbiz. According to her, women in Hollywood are expected to stay forever young, never gain a few pounds, and always look picture perfect. It's exhausting, and it's fake. Now at age 60, Melissa is done pretending. She says she just wants to be herself. No more needles, no more surgery, no more chasing an image that doesn't last. After decades of trying to fit into a mold, she's finally choosing to live in her own skin and age on her own terms. Number 34. Anastasia Pocrushchuk. Anastasia Pocrushchuk, originally from Kiev, Ukraine, has made quite a name for herself with her extraordinary cosmetic transformations. Her journey into the world of plastic surgery and aesthetic enhancements began at the age of 26, and what sets her apart is not just the procedures she's undergone, but the way she's taken matters into her own hands. While many people seek professional help for cosmetic treatments like Botox, veneers, chin and jaw reshaping, and liposuction, Anastasia took a more unconventional approach. What's truly astonishing about her story is how she self-administers her own filler injections. Using online tutorials as a guide, she learned how to inject fillers herself, believing in her ability to perform the procedures with the same precision as a trained professional. She insists on maintaining strict sterilization practices, even claiming that she approaches each session with the care of a medical practitioner. This determination to achieve a perfect look has led her to develop one of the most distinctive features on her face, her highly prominent cheeks. These exaggerated cheekbones have become her signature, and she is determined to maintain them at all costs. In a 2020 interview, Anastasia even mentioned her desire to hold the title for the most prominent cheeks in the world. Despite the warnings from medical professionals who have expressed concern over her self-inflicted procedures, Anastasia remains steadfast in her commitment to self-enhancement. Number 33. Hang Myoku. Hang Myoku's story is one of the saddest cases tied to plastic surgery addiction. Once a rising star in South Korea, a singer and model with a bright future, Hang began chasing what she believed was perfect skin at the age of 28. That chase would soon spiral into something heartbreaking. She moved to Japan, where she had several procedures done, but it didn't stop there. She kept wanting more, believing each step brought her closer to the flawless image in her mind. After a while, even the doctors had to say no. Her obsession was too much, and they feared the damage it was causing. Hang returned to South Korea, but things had already taken a dark turn. Her face had changed so much that her own parents didn't recognize her. Though she started seeing a psychiatrist, she stopped going and instead searched for someone who would still treat her. She eventually found a doctor willing to give her silicone injections, and even handed over the tools so she could do it herself. When the silicone ran out, she did the unthinkable. Out of desperation, she began injecting cooking oil into her face. The result was tragic: severe swelling, deep scars, and permanent damage. Her story made headlines, and people across the country were moved. Donations poured in to help her get surgeries to undo the harm. Doctors did what they could. Over 10 procedures removed some of the substances and reduced the size of her face, but the damage couldn't fully be undone. Now in her 60s, Hang lives a quiet life. She works in a used clothing shop and receives help from the state. Her biggest wish is simple, just to get her old face back. Number 32. Donatella Versace. Donatella Versace, the famous Italian fashion designer and sister of the late Gianni Versace, has long captivated the public with her youthful appearance, even as she reaches her late 60s. While we can't know for sure the full extent of her cosmetic treatments unless she openly discusses them, it's clear that her look has undergone some noticeable changes over the years. For one, Donatella's face is remarkably smooth and wrinkle-free, something not often seen in women her age. Her nose appears more slender and sharp, while her upper eyelids no longer sag as much. Her cheeks seem fuller, and her lips have taken on a different shape, which might suggest she has had some form of lip enhancement or cheek implants. In 2014, she was spotted with an unusually shiny complexion, which experts, such as cosmetic surgery clinical director Mark Norfolk, have linked to heavy Botox usage. Norfolk explains that Botox can create a stretched, shiny look with no lines on the forehead, which seems to align with Donatella's appearance. Moreover, the lack of forehead wrinkles and her eyes appearing slightly half-closed further point to possible Botox use. While we may never know the full truth, it's reasonable to conclude that Donatella Versace has likely used Botox or similar treatments to maintain her ageless look. Number 31. Courtney Cox. For years, Courtney Cox, best known for playing Monica on Friends, felt the pressure to keep up with Hollywood's beauty standards. One doctor after another gave their opinion, each suggesting tweaks and touch-ups. Over time, she listened, and those small changes added up. What started as little adjustments turned into layer after layer of cosmetic work. By the time she looked in the mirror, she barely recognized the woman staring back. It didn't feel right anymore. In an interview back in 2017 with New Beauty, Courtney got real about her journey. She said she had all her fillers dissolved, stripping things back to what nature gave her. Now she's closer to her true self than she's been in years, and she finally feels good about how she looks. It took a while, but Courtney's now embracing her natural beauty, and she says she's much happier for it. Number 30. Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell, the sharp-tongued judge everyone knows from The X Factor and Got Talent, has been in the spotlight for decades. But in recent years, fans started noticing something else: his face. It was changing fast, and not in a way people expected. By the year 2023, Simon came clean. He admitted he had gone overboard with plastic surgery. At one point, his face looked so stretched and filled that he joked he could have passed for a character in a horror flick. Even more heartbreaking, his young son Eric was said to be scared by how different his dad looked. That was a wake-up call for Simon. After realizing how far he'd gone, he decided to pull back. He had some of the fillers removed and started steering clear of extreme treatments. Instead of chasing youth through surgery, he began focusing on gentler skincare, like regular facials, and making better choices for his body overall. These days, Simon is more about health than looks. He drinks plenty of water, eats cleaner, and is more mindful about how he treats his body. It's not just about looking younger anymore. It's about feeling better and setting an example for his son. Number 29. Cardi B. Cardi B has never been one to hold back, whether it's in her lyrics or her real-life stories. And when it comes to her plastic surgery journey, she tells it like it is. The rapper, who speaks to both the younger crowd and older fans alike, recently opened up during a live chat on Instagram, sharing a side of herself many didn't expect. She told fans that back in August, she went through a tough procedure to get her butt implants removed. These weren't just any implants. Cardi explained that they were made up of almost all biopolymers, a risky filler that can move around inside the body and cause serious problems. She warned everyone listening, no matter how tempting it might seem, don't ever go down that road. The first time she got the injections, she was still dancing in clubs, trying to make money and fit in. She admitted she only paid around $800 for the job, and it wasn't done in a clinic. It happened in someone's basement. Later, she found out that the same person who did her procedure had also been linked to a woman's death from similar injections. That shook her. But don't get it twisted. Cardi's not against plastic surgery. She's open about getting a nose job too. She said she never liked her dad's nose and wanted to fix it. In her eyes, there's nothing wrong with changing something about yourself, if that's what will make you feel better. But she stresses one thing above all: do it the right way and stay safe. Number 28. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's changing face over the years wasn't just a topic of gossip. It became one of the most talked about transformations in pop culture history. From the time he first stepped into the spotlight as a young boy with the Jackson 5 to the last photos taken before he passed in 2009, his appearance shifted in ways that shocked the world. It all started with a nose job in the late 70s. Michael was nervous about it, so much so that he reportedly had his sister LaToya try it first. Once he saw her results, he felt comfortable enough to go through with it himself. That one decision opened the door to what would become a long and complicated relationship with cosmetic surgery. Over the years, Michael didn't just have 1 or 2 procedures. Some experts believe he had close to 100 surgeries. According to Dr. Wallace Goodstein, who worked near Michael's medical team in the 90s, the pop star came in for surgery every few months. And not just small touch-ups, he was sometimes doing 10 or 12 procedures in a single visit. We're talking nose jobs, cheek implants, eyelid work, and even a cleft placed in his chin. Dr. E.A. Gorbis, who studies body image disorders, has said it's likely Michael was dealing with something deeper, possibly a condition that made him see flaws where there were none. And with each surgery, his face changed more and more, to the point where people started questioning his identity. The once brown skin turned pale. The wide nose became thin. His natural look, tied so closely to his roots and culture, faded with time. What's most heartbreaking is that nobody really knows how Michael felt deep down. He once said that keeping his talents to himself would be selfish. Maybe that's why he always gave the world his all, even when it came at a personal cost. Number 27. Raji Narina Singh. Raji Narina Singh is an American figure who has worn many hats over the years, from acting and singing to advocating for the LGBT community, writing, and even reality TV. Her biggest public moment came when she appeared on the E! Entertainment show Botched, where she shared the struggles she faced after a dangerous cosmetic procedure went terribly wrong. Raji had initially sought cosmetic enhancements to help her feminize her face, breasts, and hips. However, the injections she received from an unlicensed practitioner turned out to be far from what she expected. Instead of the safe fillers she thought she was getting, she ended up with a harmful mix of substances, including cement-like materials, that were injected into her body. The complications from these injections were severe. Over time, the fillers caused swelling, hard lumps, and other painful reactions. It was a devastating revelation that left Raji feeling ashamed of her appearance and causing her to retreat from the world. She even struggled with the decision to seek help, isolating herself from others in an effort to avoid facing her altered features. Raji's story took a positive turn when she returned to Botched for a second appearance, where doctors successfully removed much of the harmful material from her body. Number 26. Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke's story isn't like most Hollywood stars who chase youth through plastic surgery. His journey with the knife had nothing to do with trying to stay young. It was about trying to fix what the boxing ring broke. Back in the 90s, Rourke, who had already made a name for himself in film, left the cameras behind and stepped into the boxing ring. This wasn't just a phase. Mickey had been in love with boxing since he was a kid. He had real talent too, knocking out 12 opponents straight when he was still an amateur back in the 60s and 70s. When he went pro, he stayed undefeated in 8 matches, with 6 wins, 4 by knockout, and 2 draws. But while the record looked good, his face told a different story. The beatings added up. 2 broken noses, a cheekbone crushed in, his tongue split. He even started losing short-term memory. To put it bluntly, the sport messed up his face badly. Mickey turned to surgery to fix the damage, hoping to look somewhat like the man fans remembered. But the results were far from what he wanted. One surgery turned into several. He had 5 operations on his nose alone, and another to repair his cheekbone. Still, his face kept changing, and not always for the better. Eventually, he became nearly unrecognizable. Looking back, Rourke doesn't shy away from the truth. He said plainly that he picked the wrong doctor, and that decision cost him more than just money. It cost him his face. Number 25. Sharon Osborne. Sharon Osborne, known for her time as a co-host on The Talk, has never shied away from discussing her numerous cosmetic surgeries. In fact, she openly admitted in 2016 that she was on her 3rd face and wasn't stopping there. However, after years of going under the knife, Sharon has had a change of heart. She's confessed that, despite her many procedures, she now looks back with regret. At certain angles, she said that her face almost appears plastic, a stark contrast to the youthful glow she once sought. After all the work, Sharon now feels it's time to stop fighting the aging process. At 72, she's come to the decision that she's done with trying to turn back the clock. Instead, she's embracing the natural process of aging and no longer feels the need to fight it. Her message is clear. It's okay to let time take its course. Number 24. Kenny Rogers. Back in the day, from the 70s through the 90s, Kenny Rogers ruled the country music world. With hit songs like The Gambler, Lady, and She Believes in Me, he had a voice that fans couldn't get enough of. And when he teamed up with Dolly Parton, pure magic. Kenny wasn't just a singer either. He dipped his toes into acting and built a strong presence both on stage and on screen. People loved his look too. The white beard, the stylish sunglasses, and that smooth, deep voice. He had a charm that stood out in any crowd. But everything changed in the late 90s. That's when Kenny decided to have plastic surgery. The result? He looked so different that many longtime fans barely recognized him. In 2006, Kenny admitted in an interview with People magazine that he wasn't happy with the results. He said his eyelids were pulled too tight and it drove him nuts. Years later, in a 2012 interview on CBS This Morning, Kenny explained why he went under the knife. He said it came from being bored and wanting a new image, especially during a quiet period in his career. But in the end, he regretted the decision and often wondered what he might have looked like if he had just left things alone. Even after all that, Kenny kept performing for as long as he could, but time caught up, and in 2017, he said goodbye to touring with one last farewell. Then in 2020, the world lost him for good. He passed away from natural causes, leaving behind decades of music, memories, and a legacy fans will never forget. Number 23. Kim Kardashian West. Kim Kardashian has tried a few beauty tweaks over the years, but there's one she wishes she skipped: Botox. Back on an old episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim got the treatment and ended up with bruises around her eyes. Later, she admitted she didn't do enough homework before going in. "I freaked out," she wrote. Looking back, she felt it was something she didn't even need at that age. Number 22. Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen is more than just a model. She's also a cookbook author, TV personality, and known for keeping it real on social media. People love her for her humor, honesty, and the way she speaks her mind, no matter what. In May 2020, Chrissy shared on Instagram that she was getting her breast implants removed. She said they were fine while they lasted, but now she just wants to feel good in her own skin. She also told Glamour UK that she had the surgery when she was 20, but now thinks people should stop pretending everything's perfect online. As a mom, she wants her kids to grow up loving who they are and knowing the truth behind all the filters. Number 21. Dana Delaney. Dana Delaney, known from Desperate Housewives, had one bad run-in with Botox, and that was enough to swear off all cosmetic work for good. she shared that her dermatologist once pushed her to give it a try. But when he injected her forehead, things went wrong fast. He hit a nerve, which caused a big bruise and left lasting damage. That nerve's been dead ever since, she said. Now the muscle near her right eye doesn't work the same, and it's caused a bit of drooping. Since then, she's stayed far away from anything like that. Number 20. Joan Van Arc. Joan Van Arc, known for her successful career as an actress, has always kept her thoughts on plastic surgery to herself, refusing to discuss any procedures openly. However, when comparing photos of her from earlier in her career to recent images, it's hard to ignore the noticeable changes in her appearance. In her younger years, Joan's look was more natural, but in more recent photos, her skin seems much tighter, sparking speculation about possible cosmetic work. Experts have weighed in, suggesting that Joan might have undergone various treatments over the years, such as facelifts, collagen injections, Botox, cheek implants, and perhaps even a brow lift. While her acting roles in TV shows and films were always the focus, it's the changes to her face that have drawn the most attention in recent years. One observer, after seeing Joan in 2020, remarked that her face appeared unnatural, almost like melting plastic. Plastic surgeon Dr. Anthony Yoon speculated that Joan's noticeable transformation might be the result of 1 or 2 facelifts, which could explain the overly tight look around her neck and jawline. He also pointed out the smooth, wrinkle-free forehead, which is often associated with Botox or a brow lift. Although we can't confirm any of these cosmetic changes without Joan's confirmation, the speculation about her possible surgeries seems to carry weight. As the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire, and in Joan's case, the visible changes in her appearance have certainly sparked curiosity. Number 19. Tori Spelling. Tori Spelling, best known from Beverly Hills, opened up in a 2011 chat with Good Morning America about something she wishes she hadn't done, getting breast implants. She said she got them in her early 20s, but if she had known they might mess with her ability to breastfeed later on, she never would have gone through with it. As a mom of 5, that's a big deal. Number 18. Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda has always been known for speaking her truth, whether on screen, in protests, or about her own journey with aging. Over the years, she hasn't hidden the fact that she's gone under the knife. In fact, she's been one of the few Hollywood stars willing to be real about it. In her documentary Jane Fonda in 5 acts, she got honest about the pressure she felt to keep up her looks as the years went by. Jane admitted that she gave in to that pressure, and looking back, she's not exactly proud of it. She talked about how, in a perfect world, she would have aged naturally and accepted each wrinkle with grace. But the truth is, the world she lived in, and still lives in, isn't always kind to aging women, especially in the spotlight. Now in her 80s, Jane still looks striking. But she's been clear. The way she looks now isn't all natural. In an interview with People magazine, she said if it wasn't for all the surgeries she's had, she wouldn't look like this. It wasn't said with pride. It was more like a quiet confession. She wished she had been braver, strong enough to face the mirror without the help of doctors and procedures. Number 17. Priscilla Presley. Priscilla Presley, widely recognized for her relationship with Elvis Presley and her successful career in business, has often found herself at the center of rumors about plastic surgery. While she has never openly confirmed or denied undergoing cosmetic procedures, speculation surrounding her appearance has continued for years. Various doctors who have analyzed her photos have weighed in with their opinions, although they have not personally treated her. Dr. Dave E. David, for instance, commented that Priscilla's face appears to have been overdone, with noticeable cheek fillers that seem to have affected her ability to fully open her eyes. Dr. Anthony Yoon also pointed out signs of a possible facelift, while other experts believe she may have undergone skin resurfacing treatments, some of which could have caused lasting damage. There have also been whispers that Priscilla might have fallen victim to unlicensed procedures performed by Dr. Daniel Serrano, a notorious figure in Hollywood. Serrano, who was known for conducting illegal surgeries at parties, reportedly offered injections that he claimed were better than Botox. However, these injections were actually filled with industrial-grade silicone, a substance typically used for lubricating car parts, which caused severe health issues for many who received them. Despite the many theories and expert opinions, Priscilla has kept most of her personal life and decisions private. This silence has only fueled the mystery surrounding her appearance. The combination of her striking looks and her reluctance to confirm any details keeps people guessing, leaving us with only assumptions about the true nature of her cosmetic history. Number 16. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz gave Botox a shot once, and that was more than enough for her. Talking to Entertainment Tonight back in 2014, she said it made her face look strange, like someone else completely. "I'd rather watch my face get older," she said, "than look in the mirror and not see me at all." For Cameron, staying real beat chasing a frozen version of herself. Number 15. Nevin Saganovich. Nevin Saganovich, a 45-year-old Croatian celebrity stylist and reality show star, has never been shy about his love for plastic surgery. Over the years, he's become a familiar face on Croatian reality TV, not just for his on-screen drama, but also for his ever-evolving look. But in a wild twist, Nevin recently opened up about something very unexpected that happened after one of his latest surgeries. He flew to Iran for his third nose job, hoping to save money. But not long after the procedure, things took a bizarre turn. He ended up with a non-stop erection, a non-stop, around-the-clock erection. The medical name for it is priapism, and it's no joke. Turns out, Nevin had a rare allergic reaction to the anesthetic, which triggered this awkward and painful condition. He had to cut his trip short and rush back to Belgrade for urgent treatment. Doctors say priapism needs to be dealt with immediately, or it can lead to permanent damage. The French Association of Virology even warns that ignoring it can cause lifelong erectile problems. Still, even after all that, Nevin isn't giving up on his mission to perfect his appearance. He says he's planning just one more procedure to finally reach the look he's been chasing, and maybe, just maybe, get the global fame he's always wanted. Number 14. Jaime Lee Curtis. Jaime Lee Curtis, now 66, isn't one to sugarcoat things, especially when it comes to plastic surgery. In a chat with Us Weekly in 2021, she didn't hold back. She straight up said she's no fan of messing with your face, and this opinion doesn't come out of nowhere. Jamie's been down that road herself. She's had work done, from Botox to liposuction, and now looks back at it all with regret. Her verdict? A total waste of money. Curtis has become a strong voice for natural beauty, and a big part of that comes from what she went through personally. After trying to fix things with surgery, she realized it didn't really change anything. It didn't make her feel better. It didn't last, and it sure didn't live up to the hype. Number 13. Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers was all about plastic surgery. She joked about it, talked about it, and had no shame in it. But even she had one she wasn't happy with. She once admitted that getting liposuction didn't go as planned. "I didn't check out the doctor," she said, "and the result came out bumpy, not smooth." For someone who had done it all, that one still stood out as a miss. Number 12. Heidi Montag. Heidi Montag, who rose to fame through Laguna Beach and the Hills, once thought free plastic surgery was a golden ticket. But what seemed like a dream offer turned into something she now sees as a major mistake. At just 23 years old, Heidi signed up for a full-on transformation. A clinic promised her thousands of dollars worth of cosmetic work at no charge. She went for it. But instead of feeling new and improved, she found herself in pain and completely overwhelmed. In just one day, she went under the knife for 10 different procedures. The surgery lasted 16 long hours. She had everything from a brow lift to chin shaving, Botox injections, and liposuction on both her inner and outer thighs. It wasn't glamorous, it was brutal. What made things worse was the heavy dose of pain pills she was given afterward. The medication left her weak and emotionally drained. She described feeling like a shell of herself during the long and lonely recovery. It was a lot for anyone to go through, especially someone that young. Looking back, Heidi now admits she didn't need most of those changes. She believes a lot of her choices were driven by insecurity, not necessity. Her advice? Don't rush into surgery thinking it'll fix how you feel inside. Talk to people who care about you. Talk to a professional. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Heidi isn't totally against plastic surgery, but she wants people to understand the truth behind the glossy photos. Sure, people see the before and after shots, but they don't see the pain, the bandages, the fear, or the regret that can come with it. Number 11. Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin spent years trying to change the person she saw in the mirror. Long before she became known for her sharp tongue and fearless comedy, she was quietly battling low self-esteem behind the scenes. In her book Official Book Club Selection, Kathy looked back on those tough years with a mix of honesty and humor. She admits she spent way too much time worrying about how she looked, time she now sees as wasted. But back then, it felt like everything. At just 26, she got a nose job, thinking it would boost her confidence. But it didn't stop there. She became obsessed with staying thin. She worked out non-stop, skipped meals all day, and then binged at night. She even went as far as trying speed for a short time just to lose weight. But instead of helping, it made her hungrier and more miserable. Eventually, she turned to liposuction, hoping it would be the answer. But that procedure ended in a terrible experience that shook her. That's when something clicked. Kathy realized no amount of tweaking or starving could fix what was going on inside her head. Today, she's in a much better place and doesn't hide any of it. In fact, she brings it all on stage. Kathy uses those personal struggles as part of her stand-up, turning painful memories into laughter and truth bombs. She's finally learned to laugh at the pressure to be perfect and to help others do the same. Number 10. Katie Price. Katie Price isn't hiding a thing, and that's exactly what makes her stand out. While most celebrities dodge questions about what they've had done, Katie's always been upfront about her plastic surgery journey. She owns it, she talks about it, and she does whatever she wants with her body, no apologies given. In her early modeling days, Katie kept it natural, but when she hit 30, that all changed. Her first major shift came back in 1999 when she boosted her chest from a 32B to a 32 double D and had her nose reshaped. That was just the beginning. By 2006, she was deep into the world of cosmetic changes, and by 2011, she flat out embraced the plastic label with pride. As time went on, Katie's look kept evolving. In 2016, she went for plumper lips and a face so smooth it barely moved. She even joked that she couldn't do a proper kissy face anymore. 2 years later, she showed up at the National Television Awards looking so different, some people barely recognized her. Then came the annual breast surgeries. Starting in 2019, Katie began updating her implants every single year. Each one weighs around 4.5 pounds, and that's got some plastic surgeons raising eyebrows. One doctor, Dr. Felix, voiced serious concern about the toll these repeated surgeries could take on her health. But Katie? She brushes off the criticism. For her, being open and direct about it all is what feels right. That's what's not normal, she once said, referring to the fact that most people tiptoe around the topic. Love it or hate it, Katie's not changing her tune anytime soon. Number 9. Jessica Simpson's. Jessica Simpson, known for her pop hits and bubbly personality, was one of the biggest stars of the early 2000s. She rose to fame with her music, but it was her reality show Newlyweds and iconic fashion sense that made her a household name. But even stars have regrets. Back in 2006, Jessica told Glamour she once tried lip fillers and wasn't a fan. "I had that Restylane stuff," she said. "It looked fake. I didn't like it." Thankfully, the look faded after about 4 months. "My lips are back to what they were," she added. "Thank God." Number 8. Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow, once best known for her Hollywood roles, now spends more time talking wellness than walking red carpets. And when it comes to her face, she's got rules. In a chat with Harper's Bazaar, Gwyneth admitted she'll try nearly anything to keep her skin glowing, but don't expect her to go near Botox again. She's done it before, sure, but the result? Not great. In her words, it made her look crazy, comparing herself to Joan Rivers. It was a look she wasn't comfortable with, and ever since, she's steered clear. For Gwyneth, beauty now means aging with a little help, but not losing what makes her look like her. Number 7. Jo Chuna. At just 17, Jo Chuna has already changed her face, and her life, more than most people do in a lifetime. This young Chinese influencer, known for her doll-like look, didn't rise to fame by chance. She built her online identity by documenting every step of her dramatic makeover on Weibo, and she's not shy about the number of surgeries it took, over 100 in just a few short years. It all started when she was only 13. Picked on at school and made fun of for her looks, Jo believed the only way to be treated better was to look different. So she convinced her parents to pay for her first procedure, double eyelid surgery. After that, the change in how people treated her was instant. The compliments started, and so did her obsession with chasing the next fix. From fillers to ear cartilage work, Barbie eyes to breast implants, Jo didn't slow down. Even when the pandemic hit, she still managed around 20 surgeries in 1 year. The price tag? More than $620,000, and counting. She even threatened to quit school if her parents didn't pay for her next procedure. Now, she's facing harsh side effects. Memory problems, scars that won't fade, and a body that's constantly healing. But for Jo, it's a price she's willing to pay. In her eyes, the pain and the risks are worth it, because beauty, for her, is everything. Number 6. Carrot Top. Carrot Top, born Scott Thompson, is a comedian and actor known for his high-energy performances and unforgettable appearances, especially on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. While his comedic career has earned him a lot of love, it's his ever-changing look that has sparked rumors about possible plastic surgery. As he entered his 50s, people began to notice his body going through phases of being slim, muscular, and slim again, leading to speculation about cosmetic work. Despite these rumors, Carrot Top firmly denies ever having any surgery. He credits his sculpted jawline and well-defined face to a strict workout routine and healthy lifestyle choices, rather than any procedure. Jokingly, he adds that if he ever did get surgery, he'd probably end up looking even better. But for now, he's sticking to his story that his transformation is all due to hard work in the gym. Number 5. Jackie Stallone. Jackie Stallone was never one to hold back, especially when it came to her experiences with plastic surgery. At 91, she joked that some of the procedures had left her looking like a chipmunk hoarding walnuts, offering a rare and honest glimpse into the pressures of staying youthful in Hollywood. Jackie Stallone passed away in September 2020. Number 4. Pixie Fox. Pixie Fox isn't chasing fame or followers. She's chasing fantasy. At 33, this North Carolina native has one goal in mind: to become a real-life cartoon. And she's gone to wild extremes to make that happen. She's had over 20 major surgeries, including breaking her jaw on purpose to slim her face, removing 6 ribs to shrink her waist, changing her eye color, and even shaping her ears to look more like an elf. She's pumped her lips, lifted her brows, reshaped her butt, and filled the space under her eyes with fat, all to match a vision most would call impossible. Doctors on the show botched, including Dr. Paul Nassif and Dr. Terry Dubrow, finally drew the line. They told her, no more. But Pixie didn't flinch. she just kept planning. Up next, she's hoping for a public eyelash transplant and a procedure she's dubbed a baby flower, a bold transformation of her most private area. No matter how many doors close, Pixie's not done. Her story isn't about fitting in. It's about turning herself into a walking dream, one surgery at a time. Number 3. Jessica Alves. Jessica Alves, once known to the world as Rodrigo Alves, has rewritten her life one surgery at a time. Born in Sao Paulo, Brazil, back in the early 80s, Jessica always felt like she didn't fit the box people tried to place her in. Even as a toddler, she gravitated toward Barbie dolls and wore dresses in secret, knowing deep down she wasn't the boy everyone saw. Growing up with a British father and Brazilian mother, Jessica's early life was full of comfort and privilege, thanks to a family business rooted in farming, then later branching into malls and real estate. But that didn't shield her from bullying or the confusion that came with her body producing more estrogen than usual during her teenage years. That hormonal imbalance caused her chest to develop, drawing unwanted attention and cruel comments. But instead of hiding, Jessica slowly began her transformation, on her own terms. By her mid-30s, Jessica had gone through more than 100 surgeries. Over 50 of them were plastic surgeries, and together, they cost more than £500,000. From nose jobs that left her without a sense of smell to body sculpting and facial reconstruction, Jessica chased the person she always saw in the mirror. Now, living her truth as Jessica, she doesn't just stand out, she owns her space with pride, refusing to let labels define her. Number 2. Jennifer Grey. After her breakout role in Dirty Dancing, Jennifer Grey made a decision that would haunt her for years. She opted for a nose job, one she later dubbed the nose job from hell. What she thought would enhance her appearance instead ended up changing her career in ways she never imagined. In a candid interview in 2012, Jennifer shared how the surgery completely altered her life. She entered the operating room as a well-known star, but when she came out, she felt like a stranger in the industry. The nose job left her nearly unrecognizable, and the roles she once easily landed dried up. Years later, Jennifer reflected on her fame and how it vanished almost overnight. She described herself as a former star now living in anonymity, a harsh reminder of how one decision can reshape everything. Number 1. Linda Evangelista. Linda Evangelista, the iconic Canadian supermodel who graced over 700 magazine covers, recently found herself facing a surprising and unsettling reality after undergoing a popular cosmetic treatment. While she remains stunning, a noticeable change in her appearance has caught attention, all due to what she has called a brutally disfiguring experience with a procedure meant to enhance, not harm. Attracted by the promises of cool sculpting, advertised as a fat-reducing solution without surgery or recovery time, Linda decided to give it a try. She confessed that, in hindsight, her vanity played a part in her decision. She began the treatment with high hopes of targeting stubborn fat areas, but things soon took a turn. Between 2015 and 2016, Linda had a total of 7 sessions. Instead of slimming down, she noticed bulges forming in places like her bra area, chin, and thighs, areas that only grew harder and more numb as time passed. After consulting with medical professionals, she was diagnosed with paradoxical adipose hyperplasia, a rare side effect affecting less than 1% of patients. Realizing that diet and exercise couldn't fix the issue, Linda took legal action, filing a lawsuit against the parent company, seeking $50 million in damages for the trauma caused by the treatment. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.